and a lot of stuff in real estate out there.
Yes.
So there's one thing I want to say. It was an experience that I went through. I want to start off with this. And I'm not discrediting realtors from the GTA. I'm discrediting realtors that are lazy. Okay. Now, there was a lot of realtors from the GTA come our way. I don't think as many agents from the Hamilton, Niagara, Brantford, or even Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph area go list as many houses in the GTA versus they come this way. Now,
yeah,
that's fine. I have no problem. You know, you can list a house anywhere in Ontario, which is fine. But when you come to the Hamilton, Niagara area and or Barrie or whatever that all the surrounding municipalities all the way around the GTA, we all use the same matrix system. So they come, they list the house, they only put it on their real estate board, right?
Yeah.
And they do not put it on the local board. So now realtors do not go on realtor.ca to look for houses for their clients. Realtor.ca is there for the people that want to, you know, look at, and keep updated on themselves. Now, people hire an agent because that's our job to find a house for them. Now, if the realtor from Toronto does not put it on our local board, when we're searching for them, that house doesn't show up on the system. So
that's right.
They are initially hurting the seller locally, which could be Hamilton, Niagara, Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph, Barrie, Ontario, wherever. They are not putting on a local board. So guess what? Now, between Hamilton, Niagara alone, there's probably over 4,000 or 5,000 agents, right?
Yeah.
Working. Conrad, you know the numbers better than I do.
Yeah.
Now,
no, you're right. Yeah.
Those people do not know, and they're working with people. They live and work within the community. They do not know that house is for sale unless they drive by it, or they check realtor.ca, which is not what we do. So this one house went up for sale, not much action on it, expires. They call us, we put it up for sale. Now, we're members of the Toronto Real Estate Board, and I know you guys are too. You, like all of RE/MAX Escarpment, members of the Toronto Real Estate Board. Every single one of our listings goes on the Toronto board plus our local board. And so if a Toronto agent wants to look up a listing, they can find all the information about our listing in the Hamilton, Niagara, Halton, Brantford, whatever. Now, so all the information's there. So they can find it no problem. And a local agent can find it no problem also. So they basically not only hurt the seller, the Toronto agent that didn't put it on our local board, hurt the seller from not putting it on our board by getting no action on it. It had expired. Now, if this seller was needing to get into, what do you call it? Need to move fast, and this is why sellers are frustrated. Their houses aren't selling. So anyway, I just wanted to express the experience on that. This, like, you see this all the time, Conrad, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, 28% are non-members. So what your team and what you're doing, your strategy is you want to get the whole market. So that agent only got about 28% of his Toronto colleagues and missed 72% of the local agents. So that's the problem. Yeah. So you need that strategy, and it's you know, the Golfi team you've got that strategy. You know, the other side of it is, because you're a member of Toronto and you see those deals that just come up on Toronto, you can help your buyers a little bit better. It's almost like insider trading.
Yeah.
You know, hey, look, everything's got a double-edged sword, but look, at the end of the day, it's all about that exposure. And if your local agent isn't a member of Toronto, you're missing out almost a third of the potential buyers coming your way. So yeah, it's a useful strategy.
And the consumer, you know what the consumer is, I'm going to tell you, is misinformed. They think the Toronto agent is going to be the big agent, the big savior, the big city, which actually the consumer should be saying, are we going to be on a local board too? But it's just the laziness of filling out more paperwork. That's the only thing.
Also it's the family relationship. Sometimes if you got a family member that's a realtor in Toronto or out of district, they think they're doing a favor by having the family come in and do it, and they think they're saving money. But to your point, you're not doing any disservice. We actually, an investment property, I remember picking up quite at a great price. It was on Robbins Avenue a number of years ago for that same issue. Didn't show up anywhere. And I was like, is this correct?
Yeah.
Like it's like to Conrad's point, great opportunity for your buyers, but you're not doing the sellers any favors.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Remax Escarpment and Remax Niagara is number 2 for sold listings on the Toronto Real Estate Board. And in January, we were only number 2 by about 5 deals in January. We could have been number 1 if it wasn't for 5 deals. Yeah, I
saw the stats, and I can't believe the Toronto board numbers when it came to the amount of deals that agents are doing out there. And I get it. And that's why that if they can grab onto a buyer or seller, they're doing everything in their power to come in markets outside the GTA. It's just insane. But the one thing I really want to get into is the impact on investors that made. It was in the paper about investors made 20 to 30% of the homeowners in some provinces. Stats Can said, I couldn't believe it. But has that been like that even 30 years ago, Conrad? Like investors,
no,
you're an investor at a bigger level. Brian and I are more like, we buy a lot of diversified, smaller stuff, but how many?
No, it was never.
Yeah. Was it like that back then?
No, not at all. No, people just bought for their own use. You had somebody, the odd person, that had a duplex or triplex, and that was always there. But I think you got to remember, cheap money really fueled a lot of that condo buying. And if you really look at Toronto, some of the numbers, like 40% are owned by owned by investors. Yeah. So I was just with First National. They fund multi-unit residential, and I asked them, "Are you guys kind of concerned what's going on in Toronto with all those units that are coming that are going to be occupied and rents because they're owned by individuals? They're going to panic about the rents." They said, "You know what? We have not done any. We have nothing in the pipeline." In Toronto, purpose built anywhere near any of those condo sites because everybody says I'm not going to compete with that kind of thing. So they feel really good about it. And you know what? It's going to be a blip in the system for a little while once those units get out there. But yeah, I think we're going to see the emergence of the first time buyer. I think out of the ashes of rising out of the ashes, the Phoenix is going to be the first time buyer back again, and I'm really happy about that.
Well, remember in the was it 2008 recession, 2009? Who was it that built at the end of 50 Road? Was that Mattamy Homes? No.
Yes.
Who was that? Montreal Circle. So remember a lot of people bought, and a lot of them, when they took possession, they tried to sell them, but they couldn't sell them for the price that they paid for them. So a lot of them became rentals. And then over a period of over a period of 5 years, they slowly turned into all home ownerships. I think. I don't think I doubt there's many rentals in that area right now. But I remember a lot of them said, "Hey, listen, I can't. Either they weren't moving there or they were planning on flipping it regardless. But they actually ended up becoming rentals, then home ownerships in that. And I remember there was a ton of rentals in that Montreal Circle area. It was incredible.
Mattamy is about friends and family. Like Mattamy is always about going back to their buyers and them buying another one. They've been in the investor sector for probably 10 to 15 years, like hardcore. So
they got a huge pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge pool of buyers, investors.
It'd be interesting to see how many of the new constructions now, because one thing that we're seeing a little bit more of, and it's not tipping point yet, is some of the ones that are underwater and can't close. Like the real super leveraged investor right now is the only one that we see that's in a little bit of trouble. The one that ended up buying pre-construction, bought 3-4 units. They were doing 100% financing. Those are for people that are hearing power sale or foreclosure in the newspaper. They're not your regular homeowners. Right. And they're not your regular investors. They're the ones that actually leveraged up way too much, too quick with private money, 100% financing. And they're not governed by the normal rules and regulations that, OFC's put out. So, put that in mind too, because I would say 75 to 80% of investors are taking it on the chin right now. They don't love it, but they're paying it, right?
Oh,
so
for sure.
Ironically, Ironically, Mattamy just they were tried to do a lawsuit against them because they dropped in one subdivision. They dropped 400,000 or 500,000, so they were selling 400,000 or 500,000 less than they had sold to the people prior. So they tried to bring a suit against them. Yeah, and then the judge said, "Well, you know what? Listen, you go into a casino, you're not guaranteed anything, and in this, not that real estate's a casino, but there is ebbs and flows in the market, so you can't it's just not possible. Like
that was in the paper,
right?
That was in the paper.
Yeah.
He bought 2 homes, rolled the dice, put I think was it 400,000 for each property. He put a deposit down, and then he was trying to say, hey, listen, the property went down, but what happens if the property went up? Yeah, it doesn't work one way, right? Like you know what I mean? Like because he might as well just close on them, hang on to them, and just wait it out, and it'll catch up. And I don't think the market. I think, remember when the there used to be recessions every 7 to 10 years, way back, but I think there's going to be a boom every 3 to 5 years. I don't know, like Connor, like 2017, we had an adjustment, then things flowed again. Our market's so fast with the low inventory out there that's in North America, and the amount of immigration, especially in Canada, coming in. I think, there is going to be adjustments, but in 3 to 5 years from that adjustment, you're going to see another boom. It's just going to happen. It's it's going to be a lot faster.
We had 800,000, just the latest number, 800,000 new people coming to the country in the past 12 months. In the past 12 months, because of all that bottleneck, it's up to 800,000. And put in perspective, an average year is 350 to 375.
That's right. So all these people got to find rentals. They got to find rentals. Yeah. And they're the ones that are going to drive the rental price up. Like it's like
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but what I'm saying is it's gonna drive the rental prices up. More investors are going to buy because they have to accommodate these rentals, like these people. But I mean, but it just keeps climbing up and up and up. Like the prices of houses are going to go up, rental's going to go up. It's just going to keep climbing until it settles. And I think we went through that adjustment in 2022 from May till the end of December. Now, I still think if you bought something, you should have bought something November, December last year, because you would have negotiated a really nice, sweet deal. Now you're starting to see the market climbing back up a bit again, month over month. Average sale price is up. The only place that's not up was in Niagara. Niagara on the Lake is up year over year, but we don't look at Niagara on the Lake prices because that's all messed up out there. So all those people that are getting those numbers, they go, "Oh, look at our prices up from last year of January." But overall, month over month, I mean, things are climbing again. And I tell people, and I tell people right now, there's a 4 to 8 week window that the market's going to be good. So if you're looking at selling, don't wait for the flowers to say, "I'll wait till the spring because my house looks best with flowers." People don't give a shit about that. They just want a nice house.
I think there's 2 markets. No, you're right. I think there's 2 markets. There's the TLC that sells, that TLC and HGTV. And if you're in one of those categories, get it out right now. If you're in the middle, it's a little different. But I'll tell you something. If you got a cream puff, people are looking for that, and they're pulling the trigger. But you know what I will say? You got to look at one number and one number only. And I've been pushing CMHC to deal with this number, and they finally have. And I'm going to be presenting it on Wednesday at our market update. It's household creation. That's the number you got to look at. And household creation compared to unit creation. And Ontario is in a deficit. Believe it or not, Alberta is not. Like, you're going to see Alberta, Quebec, they're going to have probably an oversupply coming to the market because their household creation is not keeping up. But Ontario is still the other way, and there's a ton of runway. So keep an eye on those 2 numbers: unit creation, household creation. And if unit creation isn't keeping pace, you're going to see prices inching up. Exactly what you're saying, Rob. Every 3 years, yes, definitely.
One last thing: do you guys think, with the interest rates they are now, we've accepted it and now it's time to move on? Do you think the consumers accepted it?
Yeah. I think that we've hit the peak. Peak or not, I think the consumer sentiment is going to start increasing now when it comes to interest rates. It is what it is. I look at my payments. I'm not going to see the same increases that I saw over the past 10 months. So it's, yes, I agree.
It's the new norm. This is the new norm. And if anything comes lower than that, jump on it if you can.
Bonus.
Exactly. And I think that's what it is. I think we finally accepted the fact this is what the interest rates are going to be.
I think it's people are making decisions based on today now. Whereas everybody was speculating. Now it's like, listen, rates might go down a bit, but I'm just going to make a decision based on today, which makes sense.
My life.
Yep, exactly. Well, the people that are in their 70s and 80-year-olds people and people in their 50s are telling the millennials, you guys are still lucky to have even 4 or 5% interest rates. We endured 13% interest rates, and people older than us endured 19, 20% interest rates. So guys, I do think that the consumers accepted the fact what the interest rates they are, and that's why everybody's coming back and saying, let's look for a house. We want home ownership, and we want to, just get on and forget about what the negative media is saying. Anything else? Anybody else got anything else to say?
No, it's cool. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Ciao.